Further than that.
I've heard 11 police officers turned up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd left my front door open. I was waiting for my dad to come to the house. I was actually in the bath. And,
make this make sense, right? I want to ask you guys a question. If you were beaten up and whilst you were in the hospital with a brain injury from being beaten up, you sent a text message calling your alleged attacker a mean word, who do you think would get convicted? The man that beat up a woman or the woman who sent a text message while she was enraged afterwards? Take a listen to this woman's story.
They opened the door themselves.
And just came in?
And came in.
And you're in the bath?
Yeah.
And what do they say to you?
Well, I heard my name, which was one female out of the lot of them.
And 10 male officers?
Yeah. And then I heard my name, and I thought, well, it might be my sister, because it didn't sound like someone who was... Because obviously I was upstairs in the bath. And then they just come up the stairs, and they didn't give me any privacy or anything. Like, I had to...
You were naked?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that is actually disgusting that 11 police officers would barge your way into your home. We don't even know if they had a warrant. I hear more and more cases of police barging their way into people's houses without actually having the legal right to do so with a warrant. And then you storm in on her, a whole 10 men and just one woman in the bath naked, and then you refuse to leave and you just want to stare at her and traumatize her. Okay, you're worried about her traumatizing somebody. The police are worried about her traumatizing somebody by sending a mean word in a text message, all whilst they're traumatizing her far more by coming into her in the bath naked and staring at her. This is just vile.
How do you feel?
Disgusted. I'm really upset. I was crying my eyes out.
And what did they say to you? What did they say they were there for?
Well, I was just asking them, can they just leave the female officer and can they please go downstairs? As obviously I was upset and I had no clothes on, and they kind of wanted to watch me get changed, and I was very upset about that. In the end, they did send the males down the stairs and the female officer sat with me. I was crying my eyes out. I was really upset, and then I said, well, what are you even here for? Because I was shocked. I was in utter shock, and she said, for malicious communications, hate crime and malicious communications. And I said, well, what for? And they said, we'll discuss that when we get to basically to the police station.
So you go to the station and then they outline that it's these messages you sent to this friend that you've had this argument with, all connected to the fact that you yourself, as you say, have been assaulted. I'm not going to get into that so much. One of the more inflammatory things about this whole story, which Tucker Carlson picked up on, was in the course of these text messages, you use the F word. We've already said what that word is. He repeated it many times. I choose not to say it. You can do what you like.
They're scared to say it on air, but it was not fuck. It was faggot was the word that she used. And she's going to explain that in just a moment. But regardless of how offensive you think that word is, I think that all of us here can agree that beating somebody up is worse than calling them the word faggot.
But that word, did you intend it in the messages to be a derogatory, homophobic slur?
Absolutely
because
not.
that is the alleged crime, is that you were promoting hate towards gay people by using that word.
First of all, a lot of my friends are gay. I am not homophobic in any way, shape or form. The word in question is a word that in our town where we live, we associate that word with somebody who, well, mainly males who hit females. Like, it's never a word for a sexuality. It's always a word where we live in our context, as in, like, basically a weak person. For instance, my brother's best friend got sent off the pitch in football last week because one of the guys fell over and, you know, he called him that name, but it was just a joke. But he got sent off the pitch but in our context, like, it just means like
and you got
you're weak.
So there we go. So I guess the point she's making is that, you know, real men don't beat up women, and hence she has used that word sort of in that context. But while she was extremely, extremely upset and literally not right in the head because she was in the hospital with a brain injury. So let's just look at a few of the details of this case in the Daily Mail. That clip there was from Piers Morgan Uncensored, where she spoke to him there. I mean, that's just one small part of the clip. Of course, you can go watch the rest on Piers Morgan Uncensored on his YouTube channel. It's absolutely shocking. That woman will be probably traumatized for life now. She said later in that interview that she's been having nightmares and all sorts of that moment where the police stormed in on her naked and were refusing to leave the room. I mean, how horrendous to have that happen to you over a text message. And she didn't just have the police turn up, she was convicted. Okay, so let's have a look at a few of the details. So that was Elizabeth Kinney. She's 34 years old. She works in a care home. She's been working in care since she was 17 years old. She's done a lot for her community, and now she ends up with a conviction for a hate crime. So she sent a bunch of messages to a friend who she believed had started the argument that led to this fight. She sent pictures of her in the hospital with her injuries, basically saying, you know, look what you've caused, look what you started, didn't have to come to this. And she called the alleged male attacker that hurt her, she called that guy a faggot. She wasn't directly texting him, but she referred to him with that. Now, when she was in the hospital, the police were called, and the people involved, including this male that allegedly attacked her, they were arrested, but the police didn't bother to take it. You know, they let them go. They didn't bother to ever come and ask for witness statements. They didn't ever bother to investigate it. They didn't think that her being beaten up was important enough for the police to investigate that and do something about it. But they did think it was important to investigate when a week later, presumably as karma, she then gets reported to the police for this text message that she sent, and has 11, not just one, but 11 police officers turn up, barge their way in the house, don't knock at the door, just barge their way in, come in while she's in the bathtub and she's naked. If this isn't two-tier policing, I don't know what this is. And what particularly annoys me about this is clearly the police not protecting women. Okay, one thing I'm very proud of as a Brit is that we care about women in this country. Women have rights, okay? We're not in some, you know, we're not living under Taliban rule. I'm very grateful to be born in a country where women have freedoms. But then when to see not just any random member of the public, but police treating women this way, not caring about them being beaten up by a man, but caring about a text message they sent, is just beyond me. It's genuinely beyond me. And this is a woman who has 4 children to look after, and she was told that she could face 5 to 10 years in prison for this text message. That's genuinely insane. Taking a mother away from the 4 children that she has to look after over a text message. Okay, we saw what happened to Lucy Connolly. She was taken away from her daughter. Her daughter is now absolutely traumatized as a consequence. It's been a really, really, really difficult time for them, all over a tweet. Okay, now let's take a look. So it was malicious communications offences, i.e. a hate crime, that she was sentenced for. And let's take a look at what she was sentenced for, guys. What her sentence was. So because that word, faggot, is considered homophobic, they decided to give her an uplifted sentence, because that is considered an aggravating factor in a hate crime if it's something that would be offensive in terms of disability, religion, race, gender, sexuality, etc. And she was given a 12-month community order. So she's had to do 72 hours of unpaid work and 10 rehabilitation activity days. And she had to pay 364 quid in cost and surcharge, all over a text message while she was in the hospital with a brain injury. And the person she was sending a rude text message about was her alleged attacker. That man still walks free with no accountability for allegedly beating up a woman. What kind of world are we living in, ladies and gentlemen? I'm absolutely horrified by this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If this is not two-tier policing, I do not know what is. This is insane. We need to get our priorities straight in this country. There needs to be a big, big overhaul with the police and their priorities, because this is bang out of order and I'm sick of hearing stories like this. This is 1984 Britain. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you hit subscribe so that you can see more videos like this from Reasoned.